The throne room was a tomb of silence, broken only by the low hum of unseen machinery and the rhythmic rasp of Vader's breathing apparatus. Emperor Palpatine's eyes, like embers in the gloom, fixed upon his apprentice from beneath the deep cowl of his hood. A chilling accusation hung in the air. "You are distracted, Lord Vader," Palpatine hissed, his voice a venomous whisper that seemed to coil around the very air. "Your mind drifts to the past, entangled in shadows that must die." He spoke of the clone, the Jedi, the girl, each word a barb meant to pierce the armored facade. Vader stood rigid, an obsidian monolith against the oppressive grandeur of the chamber. His response was a low, guttural rumble. "The clones were soldiers of the Republic, loyal until the end. They have no bearing on my purpose, Master." Palpatine's laughter was a dry, rasping sound, devoid of mirth. "Do not deceive yourself, my apprentice. The loyalty of soldiers means nothing in the grand scheme. Only fear endures, a far more potent weapon." A heavy silence descended once more, thick with unspoken defiance. Inside the dark shell of Vader's armor, a cold rage simmered, a fire the Emperor could never truly extinguish. Palpatine did not understand the true nature of allegiance. Fear might command obedience, a temporary submission to power. But loyalty, steadfast loyalty, was a bond forged in shared purpose and sacrifice. It was the unseen force that bound men into brothers, a strength Sidious could never comprehend, let alone command. Later, deep within the cavernous private forge aboard the Executor, Vader meticulously made adjustments to his armor. These modifications were his own, born of a silent rebellion, unsanctioned by the Emperor. Each alteration was a deliberate act of reclaiming a piece of himself. He stripped away unnecessary weight from the plating, refining the intricate servo motors that governed his movements. The respirator, once a harsh mechanical wheeze, was tuned to respond less like a machine and more like a living breath. His breath. Every spark of welding light that flared across the obsidian plating momentarily illuminated the scarred, ruined face beneath the mask. It was the face of a man rebuilding, not just armor, but a fractured identity. In the fleeting reflection of the polished obsidian, for a single agonizing heartbeat, he saw her. Padmé's face, her gentle smile, the phantom touch of her hand on his cheek. The echo of her voice, a whisper from a forgotten life, resonated through his memory. "There's still good in you, Anakin." He closed his eyes, and in that profound moment of vulnerability, the Dark Lord of the Sith felt a flicker of something long lost. For a moment, he felt human again. Across the vast, untamed expanse of the Outer Rim, the ripple of Rex's improbable survival began to spread. It was a whisper carried on encrypted frequencies, a spark igniting old embers of camaraderie. Commander Wolffe, once a hardened and withdrawn veteran of countless battles, intercepted a signal carrying Rex's old, familiar code. A gruff expletive escaped his lips. "Blast it," he muttered, a ghost of a smile touching his scarred face. "You're alive, old man?" Gregor, ever the jovial warrior, let out a hearty laugh. "You know Rex, stubborn as ever, even after all these years." The news was a jolt, a reminder of a past they thought buried. Even the scattered remnants of the 212th, Cody's men, began to question the Imperial command they had served for so long. "They're hunting our own now," one clone said bitterly, his voice laced with disillusionment. "Maybe the Empire ain't what we fought for." For the first time in years, fragmented brotherhoods across the galaxy began whispering a single, powerful word again. It was not loyalty to the Empire, nor to Sidious, but a deeper, more fundamental allegiance. It was loyalty to each other. As Vader meditated in the cold solitude of his private chambers, his visions grew darker, more insistent. He saw the spectral forms of the Jedi Council, their faces etched with judgment. Mace Windu's unyielding glare, Yoda's cryptic warnings, their collective mistrust burned into his memory like molten steel. An insidious voice, a familiar echo of his own darkest thoughts, growled within his mind. "They never believed in you. They used you. They feared you." The words twisted the knife of his past betrayals. He saw Windu falling from the towering heights of Coruscant, Yoda turning away in defeat, Kenobi's anguished words on the fiery plains of Mustafar. "You were the chosen one," the accusation echoed, a tormenting refrain. Vader's anger erupted, a raw, uncontrolled surge of the dark side that shattered the very chamber around him. But when the destructive fury finally faded, only a profound, crushing sorrow remained. "You lied to me, Sidious," he whispered, the words barely audible through his vocoder. You promised peace. The realization was a cold, bitter truth. Meanwhile, far from the Emperor's reach, Rex, Ahsoka Tano, and Obi-Wan Kenobi gathered aboard a hidden rebel cruiser. They reviewed intercepted Imperial communications, fragments of data that spoke of strange occurrences. The reports mentioned unauthorized suit modifications and behavioral instability emanating from Lord Vader himself. The implications were staggering, almost unbelievable. Ahsoka looked at Rex, her expression a mixture of hope and trepidation. You think he's changing? The question hung heavy in the air between them. Rex folded his arms, his gaze distant. I think he's fighting himself, Ahsoka. And if we can push the right way, if we can give him a reason to remember, he might remember who he was, Obi-Wan finished softly, his voice filled with a weary hope. But if Sidious finds out about these changes, about this flicker of doubt... Rex nodded grimly, the weight of their gamble evident in his eyes. Then the whole galaxy burns. Back aboard the Executor, Vader stood alone on his command bridge, staring out at the endless tapestry of stars. His new armor gleamed, darker than before, yet subtly different. It felt lighter, freer in its motion, a testament to his own design. He raised his gauntleted hand, flexing the fingers, feeling the subtle responsiveness of the refined mechanisms. This was his creation, not Sidious's, not the Jedi's. It was his own. He whispered, the words barely a breath, lost in the vastness of space. Anakin Skywalker was weak, but maybe he was also right. And somewhere, deep within the boundless currents of the Force, a tremor spread. It was a faint, almost imperceptible flicker of light, stirring within a seemingly endless sea of darkness.